Howdy, Connection Group leaders. Happy Thursday. I hope you're doing well. I am outside because, golly, is it pretty today. It's maybe not the greenest yet, but it's not time for it to be green, but it's still a pretty day. I'm thankful for the sunshine. And it seems pretty appropriate considering what we're talking about. Y'all, we're starting the Gospel Project. I'm so excited about the study. I really hope you enjoy it. But we're going back to the beginning, and rightfully so. In 3 years, we're going to go through the scriptures, which is great. But you got to go back to the beginning. It's the essential element of really everything else we're going to roll through the Bible. And here's why I say this. I say to the students at least once a month this phrase, and I'm going to say it a bunch to you, and certainly in the coming weeks while we're in the book of Genesis, but really just the Bible, period. Since God made the world, He gets to make the rules. Since God made the world, He gets to make the rules. It's the cornerstone of this whole deal. We're here because God put us here. This ground I'm standing here is here because God put it here. The things that we as human beings have built, God was the one who gave us the basic understanding of how to do that in the first place. Everything we see, touch, taste, smell, hear, think about, envision, everything that's happening behind the veil that we can't see in the spiritual realm, God created. And since God created it, He gets to make the rules on how it operates and not only how it's supposed to operate and what's right and wrong, and we're going to get into the wrong next week when we talk about the fall, but really what He declares to be good, He gets to declare it to be good because He's the one who put it there in the first place. We've got to have that understanding. It's an essential element. But the number two thing I would say about this particular passage, Genesis chapter 2, is this. Since God made the world and everything in it, He gets to tell us how things are supposed to best operate. So think about if you were someone who were to invent your very own brand new car. Now, there's all sorts of cars in the world, right? But like you've made your very own car. Because it's your car and you created it, you get to put together the owner's manual on it. We would call the owner's manual the Bible, right? God put an owner's manual together for us to follow and to give us the rights and the wrongs. But not just the do's and the don'ts, but also, hey, here's the best operating procedures. That's what an owner's manual is all about. It's to help you know, here's how to get the most out of this thing that has been made for you, right? So the owner's manual can tell you, hey, don't put sugar in the engine. Even though you really like sugar and sugar in your engine kind of feels kind of nice, doesn't do that well for a car. It's going to destroy it, right? God knows what we need and we don't need. And He actually lays out some specifics here in this chapter that are really helpful. For instance, God makes it clear, hey, as human beings and really all of creation, you need rest. That's an essential element. We don't miss that in this particular section. Certainly as human beings, He gave us 6 days to work and then 1 day to rest. Don't get that backwards. Sometimes we want to. I want to rest for 6 days and work 1. No. We're supposed to work and be useful and productive for 6 days of the week and then rest 1. But it's not just human beings. As we move through the law, you're going to see that God actually said, hey, the land needs to rest. Animals need to rest. Creation needs to rest. 6 days, 1 day a week. We need rest. He also gave the impression, and not so subtly, that we don't actually need all knowledge. That whole garden thing and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God said, don't eat that. You don't need to know everything. You can't handle everything. I'm God, so stay away from this one thing. I've given you so much. Be content with that. Be content of my understanding I've given you. Be content with what I'm going to continue to reveal to you, but you don't need to have all the information. And then number 3 tells us it's not good for you to be alone. Marriage is not a result of the fall, praise God. That was a pre-fall thing. But whether you get married or not is really irrelevant. I like to point out to our single friends and brothers and sisters, hey, don't discourage in your singleness. You're still not alone, but we also serve an unwed king. Jesus never got married, but He's the one we worship. But Jesus was never alone. There's that triune God thing, but He also operated with His disciples and so on. We're called to do the same thing. It's not good for us to be alone. We operate best when we play within not just the rules God's given us, but operate best with the way that we're supposed to. And then the last thing I would point out to you that I think really is important from this chapter is work is not the result of the fall. Catch that. God gave Adam a job to do long before he ever ate of the tree of the garden. And it was a fairly simple job, right? Hey, go find the animals and name them. There's some really great comedy out there. Maybe if I find the clip, I'll send to you too, about Adam getting tired of naming the animals. And that's why we have some really awesome named animals and some really silly named animals and insects too, right? So I'll find it. And if I find it, I'll stick it to you. But nonetheless, hey, go find the animals, name them. That's your job, Adam. And in the end of that process, it doesn't say Adam's not complaining, because complaining is a result of the fall, but Adam's looking around going, everybody's got somebody but me. God puts him to sleep, gives him Eve. And when they wake up, God gives them collective jobs together. Hey, be fruitful and multiply and don't eat the fruit. Man, really simple stuff. Like, here's your job. Care for the garden. I'm going to take care of 99% of the world. You just take care of this garden thing. Care for the garden. Be fruitful and multiply. Have sex, make babies, literally. And then don't eat the fruit. Those were the rules. These are the things I want you to do. The point is this: work is not the result of the fall. So man, relish the opportunities and the productivity and the just the place that God has given you to serve. Yes, to make a living for your family, but also to continue to add to God's creation, because it's the thing that he made us to do from the very start. Guys, I really do. I hope so much that you're excited about this new study together, particularly these first weeks. If we really dive into the book of Genesis, it's going to help open our eyes even further to how and why God made us and how we can best serve him. Love y'all. See you later.